Hey YouTube, coming at you, and yes, it says Halloween Cup, but at least it's not the little cup. This one is actually kind of fun to play. It is a Great League Edition Halloween Cup, 1500 CP, Bug, Poison, Ghost, Dark, and Fairy are eligible. So five kind of, I'm going to say like typings that are somewhat underrepresented in the open. Obviously with the Poison buff this season, we've seen a lot more Poisons than we have in the past because Poisons always used to have problems against like just the mud boys like Swampert, Whiscash, Quagsire that were everywhere, so you didn't see a lot of poisons before. And same thing, like Bug, Ghost, Dark, and Poison. Not the best. Like I kind of like Ghost as a typing, but the rest of them don't get a ton of play in the Great League in general. So let's look at the rankings. What we're going to do is we're going to quickly go over the rankings and then go over some team ideas. As you can see, they're broken down into typings here. So let's start with the purple ones, because the purple ones, well, I'm going to start with the purple one. I'm going to start with the poisons, purples. Clodsire 1 and 2. This should not be surprising to you if you have played any time at this Great League season. Bulky, Poison Sting got buffed. Crazy coverage with Stone Edge and Earthquake and Sludge Bomb if you just want to have that same type attack bonus. With the bulk and the unique sort of typing, it just gives you so much coverage. Very, very strong Pokemon. Top ranked Pokemon in Great League. Top used Pokemon in the I think it's top in the Play Pokemon Championship as well, so not surprising that Clodsire should be everywhere. And when you run the Sims, I've got it on two teams because a lot of times when you run the Sims, it's just like, oh yeah, it beats like almost everything. It's like, crap, okay. So you might want to like watch it, build with it, or build against it sort of thing. In terms of poisons, there is Galarian Wheezing. Now, Galarian Wheezing is a poison, but as you can see, there's no poison move in the recommended moveset. Fairy Wind, Brutal Swing, and Play Rough. It is acting more as a fairy than it is a poison with this moveset. And it just kind of, the strength of that is you get in, you get in with both fairy and poison. But if there's going to be a lot of poison in this, as you can see, Drapion and Toxapex and Grimer and Clodsire, if there's going to be a bunch of poison in this, at least being half poison yourself neutralizes that weakness. The fairy is weak to poison, but poison resists poison, so all in all, you're neutral. So that's why Wheezing has some play at the Shadow at 6 and the non-Shadow at 11. Drapion is one of the best safe swaps in the Great League. I just went over the top Pokemon used at the Little Play Championship. Shadow Drapion was on the list because it is one, but behind Feraligatr, it is one of the best safe swaps in the league. I've got it as a safe swap in a couple teams here. There's just, Poison Sting got buffed. It's fast charging. Only 4 Poison Sting to an Aqua Tail, only 5 to a Crunch with same type attack bonus and the Shadow bonus. A Crunch does like 100+ damage. So it spams fast and super hard, which makes it a very, very, very valuable safe swap when you're spamming that. I actually glossed over Quillfish because it's in the blue fair here. But Quillfish is getting in as a poison. It's a poison water type Pokemon. So as you can see, the fast move is Poison Sting, so that got buffed this season. There's a lot of Poison Sting users on this list. So that got buffed this season. Aqua Tail is very, very quick to get to, fast spamming, same type attack bonus on it. Aqua Tail is not an amazing move, but it's a decent move at that. And then Ice Beam for coverage. I think this Pokemon will play kind of like Drapion in the sense that I think it could be a good safe swap because you have that poison water typing. Again, you neutralize some things like grass. Like grass is resisted by poison. I don't know if there's a lot of grass in this meta, quite honestly, but neutralize, like just your combo typing will neutralize some stuff, put on some resistances, and then just the spamminess of the Aqua Tail and Poison Sting there will help you out. Went over Wheezing, went over Drapion. Grimer. So Shadow Grimer is recommended, and it's with Mud Slap. Okay, so it's been a while. I've used Grimer in the past before. As like a more like a fun flex sort of, because it has like this almost, I think, the same stat product and the same like movesets at the time as Skunk Tank. So you don't need to build one up. You could just use Grimer. However, you could just use Skunk Tank. However, notice that, is that a Grimer that I used before? You know what? Sorry, I'm wrong. That was a Grimer used before. This is just Grimer. Kanto Grimer. Poison. Mud Slap, Mud Bomb. Right, so it is a poison type Pokemon with the buffed Mud Slap and Mud Bomb combo and a Sludge Bomb in its own. So being poison yourself, resisting the other poisons in this meta, while also hitting super effective against poison with Mud Bomb, Mud Slap, is a nice combo right there. And Toxapex rounds it out as a very, very bulky poison Pokemon. Poison Jab, Sludge Wave, really hard combo there because Poison Jab really chunks and adds up, and Sludge Wave does a ton of damage. Brine is garbage. Don't use Brine if you don't have to. Only use Brine if Sludge Wave is resisted, but otherwise Sludge Wave, Poison Jab is a deadly, deadly combo. Okay, there's all the poisons. What do we have left here? So fairies, Carbink first. Yes, Carpink's a fairy, and yes, it has Moonblast. But with Rock Throw Power Gem, you're obviously fast move, and one of your main charge moves is obviously Rock. Now, obviously, Clodsire is going to be one of the hardest answers to this because Rock is resisted on the ground and the Moonblast is resisted on the fairy. So if you're going to use Carbink, use 2 answers to Clodsire in the back. That is a must. But otherwise, it's got an insane amount of bulk. The Rock Throws really add up. Power Gem, now the recommended moveset since it got buffed and Rock Slide got nerfed. So basically, you're just going to like out bulk and out just like, not spam, but just like out fast move damage and then charge move damage your Pokemon. That's basically how this Pokemon plays. Greninja. Notice Clodsire and Carbink as the top ranked Pokemon are weak to water. So Greninja as a dark type Pokemon gets in there. Water Shuriken is the best fast move in the game in terms of damage and energy combo. It charges at a rate of Poison Sting, I believe, but does like way more damage. Don't quote me on that, but I think it's one of the best fast moves in the game. It's only on Greninja, and you have an extremely fast Hydro Cannon to go with it. So I'm just looking here. I don't think you throw. Maybe you throw Night Slash at Quillfish, which does also have water, but almost everything else on this list, I would throw Hydro Cannon. So Water Shuriken, Hydro Cannon, just absolutely spams and hits so hard, but it is very, very, very glassy. So use a couple bulky Pokemon if you want to use that Pokemon. Azumarill, since season 1 we've been talking about Azumarill. Bulky, not the fastest charging, but you just like literally outbulk your Pokemon opponents. Water and Fairies, kind of a unique-ish typing. That and Tapu Fini is one which had a lot of play in the Ultra League. Ice Beam for Clodsire. Play Rough, yeah, you can't get rid of Play Rough. It's kind of an interesting situation here because you have a lot of top-ranked poison Pokemon, right? Clodsire, Weezing, Drapion, Grimer, Toxapex. So Play Rough is resisted. So Hydro Pump probably plays better against most of these Pokemon, but as you see, Mandibuzz and Sableye, we're going to go over the Darks next. There are some Darks and stuff on this list that you probably want to Play Rough. So it's up to you what moveset you want to use, but that's my recommendation. Sorry, I'm opening up because I see Klefki, and I know it is half steel, but I'm blanking on the second half, but we'll get to that eventually. Okay, next we have Quillfish. I went over. Oh, I'm doing the fairies. Is there any other fairies? Klefki gets in as a steel and fairy. Klefki. Klefki is a steel and fairy, and holy crap, look at all those resistances. Okay, so about this Pokemon, I've not used this Pokemon before, so I'm just going to do a quick analysis on it. 118 attack, 134 defense, 118 stamina, 1900 overall. Okay, so the stat product is like pretty decent. Not the bulkiest Pokemon you're going to see, but it fits in that, I call that second-ish tier, second to third tier Pokemon. So you have like the extremely, extremely bulky Azumarill, Bastiodon, Carbinks, and then you have like the I call them the 105, 110 attack Pokemon that still have bulk, and then you have these 110 to 120. And I think that's where Klefki fits in, and that is similar to like Quagsire. So with that stat product, you can probably take a move, but you're not going to be able to take 2 moves. Why is it so highly ranked? Well, Astonish got buffed, so decent energy generation, really hard-hitting move. The recommended moveset on this is Foul Play, Play Rough, so you got some nice coverage with those 2 moves. Play Rough is obviously the better damage per energy one, so if you can get to it, it costs more to throw, but if you can get to that one, that is the better damage per move. I think where it really, really dominates here is its typings. Steel Fairy, so it only has 2 weaknesses, Fire and Ground, but it has 11 resistances. You triple resist dragon, you double resist bug, and you single resist rock, psychic, poison, normal, ice, grass, flying, fairy, and dark. And last time I checked, dark, fairy, and poison were 3 of the meta Pokemon in this meta. So when you resist that many things that are in the meta, you wear instant riser to the top. So again, decent stat product, astonish buff, okay moveset. Foul play for player off are like not the best moveset, quite honestly. A lot of these other Pokemon have better movesets than those two, but that typing is very unique and very strong. In that I skipped a Ninetales. It is a fairy, but as you see, ice fairy. I almost said ice baby. Many of you are probably too young for that. Powder Snow, Weather Ball, Dazzling Gleam. So it is a fairy, so it is weak to poison. But because there's so many fairies, you're not running the charm aspect of it. You're running the Powder Snow aspect. And Powder Snow, again, will hit super effective against Clodsire. So being able to do that is great. And then you still have the Dazzling Gleam for the other like darks and stuff. Okay. And then Golurk gets in as a ghost, but obviously it is mostly known because it is a ground type Pokemon with the Mud Slap. And the main reason that it's meta is because that Mud Slap got buffed. So a really, really hard hitting move on a very attack heavy Pokemon. So those Mud Slap buffed. Shadow Punch is the first move, and then Dynamic Punch. Basically, you're just, because you're so glassy and you get stabbed on Shadow Punch, you're basically always running Mud Slap, Shadow Punch. The only reason you would throw Dynamic Punch is if Shadow Punch is resisted. So like on a Mandibuzz where Shadow Punch is resisted, you want to go for the neutral Dynamic Punch. But again, Mud Slap user with a ton of poison in the meta. Mud Slap ground hits super effective against poison, so that makes it super, super strong. What did I miss here? Marowak also has a ghost, and then the darks are last. So Marowak as a ghost has the Shadow Bone as a ghost, as a really nice ghost move, but Fire Spin and Bone Club both got buffed this season. So having 2 buff moves plus the Shadow Bone is a pretty good option here. Again, as a ghost, you resist all the poison too. And as a fire, you resist the fairy. So I think it's getting in a lot on just being able to resist a couple of the typings that are in this meta, which makes it strong. And the darks that I have not covered yet, Mandibuzz and Sableye. Mandibuzz, the best flyer in the game because it's got bulk, it's got spamminess, Dark Pulse hurts now, and it's one of the only flyers in the game. So that's straightforward for Mandibuzz. Sableye, Shadow, yes, Shadow is better. Not if you want to safe swap. If you want to safe swap, the Purified safe swap is better. If you want just a better Pokemon, Shadow Sableye is better. Because if you watch my video, I forget when I did that video, but I did a video looking at like when does Shadow matter, and basically a Shadow Pokemon matters when the non-purified would have to throw 2 moves and the Shadow can throw 1 move, or down from 3 to 2. And Sableye fits that bill. A non-Shadow Sableye, you'd have to throw 2 foul plays. Shadow Claw, foul play, Shadow Claw, foul play. But because you get that Shadow bonus damage, you only need to throw basically Shadow Claws, 1 foul play, and then you can Shadow Claw the rest down, which means that you flip a lot of matchups, which is why it is so strong now. So that is the meta. Let's take a look at some Pokemon. Started with Clodsire just because like #1 ranked Pokemon. Look at that down the board, destroying a crap ton. Again, when you are bulky and a poison yourself, but also a ground type with all the poisons in this meta, lots of big X's, which means you are going to win those matchups by a lot. Your losses are obviously Greninja as the water, Golurk as the ground. So try to cover those weaknesses. And one of the recommended was just as a bulk Pokemon that can kind of deal with everything was Umbreon. So a second bulky Pokemon. So I was like, okay, what do I want to use as a third? And then I'm like, okay, I got 2 bulky Pokemons. I can use a Glacier Pokemon, and one of the best Glacier Pokemons in all this meta that can hit super effective against Clodsire is Frostlass. So my thought process was, you already got 2 bulky Pokemon. You can use a more glassy one and use the shields on that. Frostlass has been one of the best safe swaps in limited metas for a long time now, and I think here it has a lot of play and it should be no different. And then it's also an answer to Clodsire, hitting super effective with the Powder Snows and Avalanches. So that is one of the teams I put together. The second one is Started with Greninja because I'm like, okay, I know it's the main answer to Clodsire. Let's see what else I can do. And Carbink, right? Because you hit Super Fighting against both of those. So being able to Super Fighting against both of those, yeah, I remember putting this team together and I'm like, I don't like this team as much, but I'll tell you how to change it. So what are your main weaknesses? Azumarill is fairies, right? Azumarill is a fairy. Wigglytuff is a fairy. Guzzlord, because you can't deal with it. So to deal with the fairies and the dragon, I put in Mawile because Mawile, as a steel fairy, has a ton of resistances there. So you are picking up a ton of resistance to get the other Pokemon. And then I put in a third that I'm like, okay, I need a safe swap. And then I've used Drifblim multiple times. There is some dark in here, right? I went over Guzzlord, I went over Umbreon, Sableye. But there's not a ton of darks in here. So I thought maybe Drifblim with the Astonish buff is a good safe swap. The problem with this team is that it's very, very, very glassy. Drifblim's glassy, Greninja is very glassy, and Mawile is okay, but it's still pretty glassy. So if you want to run this sort of balanced team combo in Greninja and Mawile, you may want to consider doing like a very third bulky Pokemon. Again, something like Clodsire works. You can go with Azumarill. There's not a lot of like grass and electric in this meta. It would make you double weak to grass and electric, but there's not a ton of that in this meta. So you can get by with something like that if you would like to get this team a little more bulk, or you may at times find you're just like struggling with like, what do I shield? Everything's weak here. Right. I had a third team, but then I'm like, oh, 2 of the 3 Pokemon are the same as my last team. So I just deleted it. So you'll see the last team soon, which is why Clodsire is already on this team because I worked through there. Okay. Who did I start with? Although Malamar's on the first thing, I actually think I started with Toxapex because I knew just bulk, poison, plus water. Again, a lot of great options. And then your main problems were ground type Pokemon because the ground will resist all the poison moves. So Clodsire, Golurk. And I was looking for like some unique options to deal with those. And Malamar is the next one because Malamar has Psywave, which is a psychic move. So hit super effective against the poisons like Clodsire. And then it's just so spammy with the foul plays. Like, so being able to hit pretty decently hard with the Psywaves and then getting to foul plays pretty quickly. Nice combo there. And then, oh look, they recommended a third in Clodsire. So yeah, I'm not going to go over Clodsire because you know what it does there. Okay. Started with Shadow Sableye because always a winner. If you've watched this channel for a while, you know that I love playing with Sableye. It's like one of my go-to, I've got like 5 go-to Pokemon over the years. Started with Swampert. Sableye has been one. And then Kanto Ninetales, Togedemaru, and I'm sure there's like a couple others like my go-tos, but those have been like my top 4. And Sableye has always been one. I've always did well with it. Again, I think I kind of explained why Shadow is better. So Shadow is better, even though it doesn't sim as well, right? You got a lot of losses here. Fairy is one of the typings. Azumarill, Carbink, you're gonna lose there. Greninja is the dark, a couple darks, you're gonna lose against the darks. Some Pokemon like Golurk, which is crazy that you're going to lose to Golurk because it is half ghost and you hit super effective. I can't believe you lose that. That's kind of crazy to me. Okay, so we need some answers for all those. Quailfish seems to answer a lot of those. 1, it's a poison, so it deals with all the fairies. 2, it's got the water aspect, so it'll deal with like Carbink and Golurk and stuff. Although Golurk will still hit super effective against you, which is why I put in Azumarill as a third to deal with Golurk. Deal with those ground type Pokemon. So that is the reason that this team is together. Plus, Quailfish, Sableye, especially the Shadow Sableye, not the bulkiest Pokemon, so wanted a little more bulk in the end there with Azumarill. Jeez. Okay, I think this is the last one, and then we'll talk about the channel because I think I figured out what I want to do with it because of this whole YouTube situation. So last team, Golurk, Wiggly, Drapion. Start with Golurk. So I'm like, okay, I know Carbink and Clodsire are the top ranked Pokemon, and it is a Mud Slap user resisting poison and the rock. So start with Golurk. You are Ghost, so you're going to have a lot of problems with Dark type Pokemon. Hence the loss to like hard loss to Mandibuzz and Moltres. So I put in just a fairy, and I put in Charm User. You don't need to use Charm User. You can use another fairy with a fairy type move. But I put in Charm User in Wiggly. And then I'm like, okay, it's a balanced team on the front end. What's a good safe swap? Drapion. So Drapion, I said, is one of the best safe swaps in this just GBL in general right now with its spamminess and the Poison Sting buff. So put it in as a safe swap. So that is the team. Although if you use the team, Golurk, Drapion combo, maybe a little glassy, which is why Wiggly as a fairy is a pretty good one because Wiggly is a pretty bulky fairy. So that's it. There is also a Great League Rematch, which they updated the banned Pokemon. So that video is out this morning if you want to do that. Now, if you watch this channel for the last few days and you have noticed that you're not getting any ads on my thing, I kind of over whenever. So I think we have all established, all of us in the group, and having watched other videos, it is an, what are they calling it? Invalid views. Just give me one moment here. I mean, if you want to go play the game, go play the game. Actually, the league doesn't turn over for a few hours, so you guys can stick around and hear what I gotta say. Because this will affect my videos going forward. Because if it's truly this and the problem that I'm gonna run into with this channel. Okay. Invalid traffic bug. Okay. If you watch my videos, you'll notice that my revenue has dropped like 80%. And it's because we don't know the true reason, but there has been a bug that has hit a lot of people over the past couple of years, and it's an invalid traffic bug. And basically what happens is, for some reason, it's a bug. YouTube flags your channel as having invalid traffic. So at that point, it doesn't start showing ads because it doesn't believe that these ads are for real people. So they limit the amount of ads you get. So the ads have shrunk by like 80%, which means our revenue is down 8%, which means I'm now putting out 2 videos a day for like $10. People have done this video in the past who've been hit with this bug, and the general consensus in the group of like these hundreds of content creators that got affected by this time around, this will be fixed potentially in 3 months. And it doesn't mean it won't happen again, because there's a video from a girl who this happened to a year ago. She was down for 3 months. The next update, they repatched it or whatever, fixed it for 3 months, and then she got hit with it again, so the revenue went down 8% again. So a lot of people have suggested different options, memberships. I'm not going to do memberships because I'm not giving more money to YouTube if they're just going to keep screwing me, right? Patreon's an interesting one. And so I'm not 100% going to do this now, but if this truly is going to go on for 3 months, what I think I'm going to do is I put out 2 videos a day. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put out 1 video a day on YouTube to keep the subscriber growth and keep people coming and getting on the channel. And then I'm going to have a Patreon, and that's where my second video is going to go. So my second video with the second team, I'll do like different videos. Like if people want like a Q&A video, if they want something else sort of video, I'll do the Patreon. So I'm trying to figure out, I think that's what I'm going to do, because I don't think this is going to be solved anytime soon. And I'm not just going to keep uploading 2 videos a day for no revenue. So I'll do 1 just to keep the channel trying to grow and subscriber growth. And then I will put my second one up on the Patreon. Now I've just got to try to figure out, a lot of people, you said you would be interested in that. I just don't know the pricing of it. I wouldn't be much. It'd be like, I was thinking like $5 a month. And essentially you get like 30 plus videos out of it, because I'll be uploading my second video every day there instead of YouTube. So I would just do 1 video on YouTube and 1 video over there. That's my thought moving forward. Let me know in the comments below if you are interested in that, because that is my thought process right now. Anyways, that is it. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one.